Hello, I'm John Gray, Green Party candidate for U.S. Senate in 2010. I wanted to talk to you this evening about a very important book, I think, for anyone who wants to understand the situation in Iran and what's happening there. The book is called All the Shah's Men. It is by Stephen Kinzer, who was a bureau chief in that area for a large number of years. A very excellent reporter. In any case, he wrote a history of the Iranian conflict and took it from basically the time of Eisenhower. And it turns out that, or before the time of Eisenhower actually, from the time of Truman, it turns out that Iran was developing a very strong up-and-coming democracy when Truman was in office. Now, Mossadegh, who was the leader of Iran at that time, made the same mistake that Chavez made. He said to British Petroleum, you know, you guys have been getting 85 cents out of every dollar of oil that comes out of our ground in our country, and that's not fair. We want 60% for our people. And the British didn't like that at all, and Mossadegh basically said, go home. Well, the British ran to Truman and said, man, those guys are trying to claim money for their own people. We can't have that. And Truman said, why don't you go home and shut up? He's developing a very strong democracy. We need a strong democracy to protect us against the spread of communism and all of that sort of thing. So just cool it. Well, he may not have used those exact words, of course, but in any case, the British didn't like it. So they started planning at that time behind the scenes with the CIA to overthrow Mossadegh. Truman, through his tenure, supported Mossadegh and Iran, the Iranian democracy, totally. 3 weeks after Truman left office and Eisenhower took over, the CIA overthrew its first national government. It went in, overthrew Mossadegh, eventually killed him, installed the Shah of Iran, who was a very abusive dictator who had a tendency to, anybody that was for the common man and not for the rich guys would just disappear or be imprisoned or something like that. In fact, he brought in the oil companies again, British Petroleum, the American oil companies. They got the oil for 85% of the profits. The Shah got the 15% to share with his other oligarchs, but they got filthy rich in the process. We got the oil for next to nothing. And then eventually, he was so abusive that the Ayatollahs rose up and threw him out of the country. Well, the Ayatollahs are much more for the common person than the Shah ever was. They have ruled pretty much since, and they hate America because of what we did to their country. The Ahmadinejad, for instance, was part of the crew that took the hostages in Iran. But be that as it may, they have a long history of our insistence on taking their resources for next to nothing has caused a great deal of resentment. So now the war drums are beating again. The question is our CIA getting ready to do their magic once again and install a new Shah or a new oligarch? We'll wait and see. But this time it should be more fun because the Iranians and the Chinese have signed mutual protection agreements, so we could have just a jolly nice world war if we're not careful. Attacking Iran is totally and completely insane. It's nuts. Anybody that would consider it is anti-American and nuts. Thank you.